Hi, everybody. It's February 6th, 2025. I'm Mr. Blurry right now. Let's see. My name is Nate Lampton. I'm Quick Sketch on the internet. I'm core committer, and technical lead for the Backdrop project. And we get together every week to talk about development priorities for Backdrop CMS. Today, we've got a couple of topics about Backdrop 1.30.1. That'll be the next bug fix release that we're going to be working on getting out imminently. And then if we have some time and space, Irina also wanted to go through a little debugging process, and we can kind of walk through how to solve problems with a debugger, possibly. So we'll do some introductions first. Could we start with Martin and then go to Eli?
Hello, I'm Martin Price, Yorkshire Pudding around Backdrop, and I'm a Backdrop developer in North East England, United Kingdom.
Martin, Eli?
Hello, my name is Eli. I'm a developer with Giant Rabbit, and I'm calling from San Diego, California.
Great. And Irene?
Hi, my name is Irina Zaks. I work in South Bay area. I do mostly site building, and I do a lot of work with Backdrop. And today I'm struggling with we ported so using coder upgrade, we ported module from Drupal 7 to Backdrop, and though the upgrade went very well and module works, it creates very unusual problem for other operations. So today I'm hoping to learn more about debugging. Thank you.
Great. I'm sorry, I'm still not totally better, so I've still got this cough that I can't kick. Let's share my screen. Talk about issues for today. So the really good news is that we have a number of regressions have been solved over the past week, which is great for the 1.30.1 milestone. So we've got 4 closed issues, which doesn't seem like a lot, but each one of these issues is a pretty substantial problem. This one in particular that Laren merged last night was preventing sites from upgrading from Drupal 7. So that's a really big issue. It's possible to get past it, but yeah, the links were causing redirection. So so this will solve that issue. I think there's still one more. Yeah, this one, this issue still needs to be fixed. There is a pull request that fixes it via an update hook, and maybe I should just go ahead and merge that one because I'm pretty sure it's already working in that way. But I filed another pull request last night that is an alternative that could use review. Instead of this first approach, which, by the way, GitHub recently redid their UI, and I am not a fan of this drop-down thing because you can't click on the other pull requests. One, you have to go back up to the top of the page to see them. I don't like it. Anyway, the 2 pull requests that we've got here, one adds
It's easier to miss that there's 2 as well, isn't it?
Yeah, because it collapses. Yeah, I guess +1. It's vague. Yeah, I don't like it. This one deletes an update hook and then re-adds the update hook with a correction, which is what we do when we have a mistake in an update hook. But what it does that I'm not really a fan of is it has removed the check to see if the basis theme is enabled, and it just always makes a basis settings.json file no matter whether the theme is in use or not. And that's what I really don't like about this, is that it makes this settings file exist on all sites. And the problem that we're facing here is that you can not turn on a base theme, but have a sub theme that inherits from it. And that's what this is addressing is that the basis theme is turned off, but a sub theme is turned on. Sub theme up basis is turned on, and then the settings file doesn't exist. So the suggestion that I have instead here is the way that theme settings are read when you have a base theme is that it checks to see if there's a setting in the JSON file first, but then it also checks the info file. And so I think what we can do is just add some lines to the .info file of basis.info, and it should fall, the theme setting should fall back to reading this info file, even if the theme isn't turned on. So tried to put some documentation here about why, like, what these lines do. But I'm pretty sure that this will avoid needing to have a basis settings.json file, even if the theme's not turned on. So, but even then, like this entire situation is pretty unusual. You know, it's only affecting sites that are using a subtheme of basis and have basis turned off. So it's a kind of smallish focused problem. Still, it'd be nice to get it fixed and then get 1.30.1 out. I've said it that we're trying to get 1.30.1 out as soon as possible. I'm hoping for tomorrow. So if we can get this issue fixed, I don't know if there's other ones that we are also on the cusp of. Let's check the RTBC queue, just one. Then yeah, we'll get this release out tomorrow. So let's see, yeah, a bunch of fixed issues in the past couple of days, which was wonderful to see. I want to also revisit this one, PHP 8.4 support, issue 6777. This has a pull request that has had some review, which is great, and I need to come back and give it some small updates. But this issue is now unblocked because the PMC officially voted on dropping support for older versions of PHP. And so we're going to drop support for PHP 5.6 and 7.1. So wait, sorry, 5.6 and 7.0. So 7.1 becomes the new minimum version. And this was largely guided by the technical requirements that we have for PHP 8.4, that in order to support PHP 8.4, we have to start using a syntax that was introduced in PHP 7.1. The overall set of fixes is pretty straightforward. But we're going to start seeing this syntax. It's not really that common, but we'll start seeing this syntax in Backdrop core and in contrib modules as well. I'm guessing, where if a variable has a default value of null like this, then it also needs to have a question mark added before its type hint. And sorry, that's only if there's a type hint and a default of null, then you have to put a question mark in front of its type. And that's whether it's an array or whether it's an object like this. So that's all this pull request really is doing, is just adding these question marks for PHP 8.4 support. But that question mark would throw a syntax error in PHP 5.6 and 7.0, causing it to completely white screen, and it can't even read the file. So unfortunately, that means we gotta bump up those versions a little bit. I'm not really that sad about dropping support for 5.6 and 7.1. Sorry, 7.0. But I am sad that that we don't really have the ability to give more warning. You know, I don't like the idea that a Backdrop, when you upgrade in between minor versions, that it would break your site, even if it's breaking because you're running an ancient version of PHP. But we're kind of forced into this one because we have to support the newest versions of PHP. So that's on the horizon. All right. So that's all I really had to talk about for today. We're really focused on getting that bug fix release out, and that will happen in the very near future. So we can turn to the problem. Does anybody have any other topics before I jump over to try to answer Irina's debugging question? Okay. All right. So in Zulip, Irina has said that this is a very specific problem. There's a new port of a module called download count. It's not even in contrib yet. But when using this module, it throws a warning. Hang on, there's an issue. Here it is. Related to tokens, that there's some undefined variables and the value being passed into array keys isn't an array. So how do we solve this problem? So to demonstrate, we're going to try to do live debugging, which should be fun. So I've got my local site here. And I'm going to pull up the terminal. Okay. And I'm going to clone download count into my local. Okay. On.
Sweet. Thank you.
All right. So now, according to the report, I go over to a content type page. Is that right?
Can you try to add content?
Okay.
This is combination that I didn't try yet. And not add content, but add content type.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. So this works great. So the download count only deals with private files. So in order to reproduce my problem, we would need to add file
Okay.
upload to a content type, which kind of, this is very helpful because it's
Yeah, sorry, I don't have private file set up, but
yeah, that's exactly right. So this is what we're doing. So this is what helps. So I only tested it when it was already in place. So now that you save it, it would be really lovely if you don't have this problem. Or maybe it wouldn't.
okay, so I've got my content type. Okay, well, but I haven't actually seen where
Okay, so far we don't have the problem.
yeah, well, so far I haven't seen the download count settings either. So I'm not quite sure where
Did
those
you
live.
it's under reports? So under reports, you see download counts. Up, a little bit up here, up, one down.
Oh
Blocks.
yeah, there it is.
Here.
Okay.
So this is the page that is supposed to show count, download counts. You have to, it will, so if you're admin, it will not count, and that is correct
Okay.
behavior. So you need to have log in as a user to see this download counts
Oh, okay.
as a second user.
Irina, what version of PHP are you using?
It is, let me check. I'm looking at my map. It's telling me it's 8314. So now if you go to that page and download it, then it should. So now if you click here in your download counts, it should give you something. So under reports, if you go to download counts. Okay, so it's not working for you here, which is interesting. Because it does work on one of, so Justin, so I did first port, then Justin worked with that and it worked for him. So, and I can reproduce working instance here, but what happens here if you go and try to add content type? If you go under structure and say create content type. That is super interesting because I have different behavior.
So there are some it's token related, but the thing that is puzzling me is that shouldn't there be some settings for the module somewhere?
I don't think there are settings. From what I remember.
Log messages. No, no log messages either.
Okay, great. I can reproduce the error that I see on my side. And okay, yeah, and that
Shoot, I was gonna do a little debugging exercise, but I'll show you the concept though. If we can find another way to reproduce this problem, but so let's go. I'm just gonna make a little hack.
so what's weird is that you don't have this problem at all.
Mhm.
And I have it
So just from the reading the issue, here it is. So null is given into array keys, undefined array key types. So I'm going to try to reproduce something kind of similar here. I'm not sure if this is the same kind of cause, but I think if it is related to tokens, it's probably related to generating the token list. And so I will accidentally cause this problem, I think, if I do something, if I set token types equal to an empty string. I think that that would cause a problem. Let's see. did not cause a problem. Let me see, what could I put this to,
I have a question. It doesn't count things for you, which is interesting because it does count. So both Justin and I are able to see this downloads, but so I have two different sites. On the one which is live site, I do not see the download counts. Yep, that's what it is. That's
here we go. So I did manage to get something kind of similar. But I did this by intentionally causing a problem here where I specifically put in the wrong type thing here. But if we were getting this other error, which I think is kind of similar, yeah, let's see if okay, so string given doesn't actually give us the line number here. Here we go.
mhm.
Okay, so here we have the actual line number, pretty similar to the error that you're talking about. So what I would normally do in this situation is I would go to the place where it's reporting the problem,
Mhm.
system pages, and line 141. So, and it's saying that haystack string given. So in needle haystack. So types is not an array here.
Mhm.
And so as a like you know, just debugging without a lot of extra technical knowledge, what people might do is you know, just do the rough
Right, that's
you know, the rough kind of debug like this. Yeah, so foo is what's coming back here, and so foo is ultimately where, you know, that's this string here, foo. So
so
that-
you were doing print R. That's okay. So yep, okay.
but
There is there is another that obviously where things aren't causing a fatal error, you can use Devel's DPM to put in, but there is another module called object log as well, which writes objects to the database at particular points, so you don't need so it doesn't rely on there not being a fatal error.
Yeah, so I'll turn on devel module because
Okay.
I think you're right, that's a useful tool. So if you have devel module turned on, then you can do DPM. I'm not sure that this will work. Okay, there we go. Oh, it did. So yeah, it prints to the message area that variable. And if that variable were more complicated, like I'll print out
For
this
some reason,
info.
DPM didn't want to log, didn't want to turn on, and says it just would break. I don't know. Let me check if maybe I didn't have devel.
Yeah, I have to have develop module for this.
Yeah,
type.
if develop, it's one you always have to make sure you tidy up DPM, especially if you don't have devel on your production site, because it can cause a nightmare. But you do, you get an error that it can't find DPM if you don't have devel turned on.
Yeah, if you want to get even crazier, I don't do this very often anymore since I've real debugger, but there's also this useful function called debug backtrace. And I think that
When debug backtrace, okay.
it takes a debug backtrace, yeah, and then it takes an argument which you probably should pass into it. Debug backtrace ignore arguments or ignore args. And what this will do is it will tell you all of the functions that were called to get to this one function. And so putting that into DPM, you get this trace of the functions that have been called. And so this can basically get you backwards to to where the problem had originated.
So what was this function? That if you step back, it's in DPM debug trace. So can I share my screen? Maybe I'm missing something because I'm clearly DPM.
Oh yeah, I'll let you share.
I will totally give it back to you right away because I think that I'm asking for wrong information. And this is why, so the message that I see is full desktop. Here we go. So what I'm seeing here is I tend to put things into Watchdog because it's very easier for me to at least track where things are. So what I was doing is basically putting this Watchdog messages into different things on my local, so I can see where things are happening. I have added here, so it's telling me the error comes from token line 302. So this is what I'm putting in. Does it look reasonable? Or no? Because I see that it is getting here for some reason, which is here.
Mm.
If I, and it like, so I know that for some reason, when I simply click here, on reports in DBLog, it keeps triggering this module, which I'm kind of a little confused why it's happening. If I do content type, it gives me an error again. It gives me, what I would love to see is I would love to see what I can put in. I don't know how to put array into the log message because I know that that here and like it's telling me.
I guess what goes into that particular, because it's the array keys function, which on the original is line 302. And it's token info types. So if you, I'm just looking at where you've actually, let's see, Watchdog core token, get info else. I mean, it should. I think if you're putting it into Watchdog, you might, I don't know, you might have to do something because I don't think you can just put, correct me if I'm wrong, Nate, but I don't think you can just put arrays into Watchdog.
Yeah, Watchdog takes it takes the same format as like a T a translated string where there's a string for the message, and then there is an array for variables to pass in, but they're used as substitution, so they have to go somewhere. They have to be substituted
Oh,
into this string.
okay. At least this one worked a little. At least it's giving me something now.
Yeah,
So now that, so at least I've got to the point where DPM works, because it was telling me it doesn't understand DPM. Now DPM works. Maybe I didn't have dev turned on. So it's telling me the token info is empty, which I already know from here. So what my goal is to understand where this so what thing that I struggle to figure out is how I can understand at what point this function is called, because token inc is included in 100 million different things. New module does not have direct reference to token. So there's in the whole code of this module, there's no one line that calls directly to token. So the troubleshooting question that I have here is, I see that this information is causing problem. Is there a way to track the where in the system, what in the system is calling this? Is it coming from file? Is it coming from something else? Because this is, so this is the module itself here. Here is the module. It's not very long. We know that it has calls to views, which is fine. It has calls to file field. I don't know if it calls to rules, or so I didn't read 100% everything, but from the philosophical point of view, for me, my goal would be, I identified where the problem is, right? System tells me your problem is in this line. This is empty information, but I don't know if is there a way to find what is calling this line?
Yeah, so
does my question make sense?
yeah, you should be able to do the debug backtrace that I suggest. Since you have DPM there, just put debug backtrace inside of the DPM, and
Okay.
and that should
Here?
tell you the series of functions that led to that being called. Debug underscore. Yep. This is a PHP function, so it's always available. Yeah,
Like
and
this?
if you can, yeah, just like that. Yep. And if it doesn't have too many variables, it might be okay.
Ah,
So okay, so it might have too many variables if it can't expand. So let's see, what's that function? Debug. This is cheating, but that constant expands to the value 2. So if you just type the number 2, there you go. That's the same as typing in debug backtrace ignore args. Okay, now it should open. Yeah, so I think the 0 item there is, yeah, that's the function that you're in on the line that you're on. And then so yeah, expand that one, and that would be the calling function, token get global types, okay. Token get invalid tokens by context. Yeah, keep going up. Form builder, process form, build form, get form, okay. System block view.
mhm.
Yeah, now we're just getting into like the, you know, the routing system and like what the layout system. Okay, so this is the limitation of not having the arguments, right? You don't know what the values of these things are, but let's scroll up a little bit. So we know that we're token element validate, and we're inside of a form somewhere.
So this is line 379.
Yeah, so what you could do is work backwards up this chain, and then you'll have more context inside of each one of these places.
Thank you. I think that that's exactly what I was looking for, because this is, yeah, these things I don't know. So they are all coming, everything is coming from, no, this coming from menu. So they're, okay, this one doesn't expand. Interesting. This is very interesting. This comes from index.
Yeah, that's just the original file that gets called index.php. So DPM, it truncates the string, and that's why it expands like that. So if you've got a really long string, then it truncates it to keep it short. But if it's already short enough, then it doesn't collapse it, because it doesn't need to shorten it up.
So now I have an option to go through this references and see where it is possible to find the information, just to see where. So my understanding is that new module, so the error happens when I turn on new module on the vanilla instance. Module works, it does count. I can probably show you here if, so I'm admin. Was it working or was it not working? Let me check. So that I had this content. I am logged in as a different user. Great, so now it's not working again, which is great, because that's what we were looking for. No, it does work. Right, so I turned on the module, I click here. It has a bug because it counts every download twice, but that's a different story. It's like here I'm gonna see 4 now. If I put in different files, so overall the module itself works exactly as expected, and it provides exactly information that we need. And I believe it's not a very common situation where people need to track private files downloads, but it makes it much easier to work without any external trackers or any, like, there's a number of, Google Analytics wouldn't do it for you. Mobama server, I forgot the correct name. So there are ways to do it, but then you rely on third-party services. And this allows you to do it directly without parsing weblogs or just, so the module itself does great job. So and then it doesn't work on my other site, which is so the other site that is live site, it doesn't work. I go here and it's breaking somewhere. I think I reset it so many times that I don't remember, but it doesn't work. So it is hitting something somewhere. And this is why. So if I disable file, message that these are my kind of attempts to troubleshoot things. So I was adding Watchdog because I thought it would be more helpful.
Yeah, it is. There's certain situations where Watchdog is great because like if it happens like via an Ajax request or in the background or something like that, it's great that Watchdog can put it there and it's persistent. But sometimes the database might not be available, and so sometimes printing to the screen is more reliable. It really depends which one is better. I'll round this out a little bit just to show what I would do in this situation. And this might be unfair, but I do think that it's worthwhile setting up especially if you're already using DDEV or Lando. You can turn it on super simply. DDEV Xdebug on turns on Xdebug, and then on the line where you're not quite sure what's happening inside of VS Code or PHP Storm, you click on the line number next to line number, it puts a little red dot. And then when I go to load that page, hang on, here we go. So I just reloaded and it immediately jumped over to the IDE. And it stopped on this line number. And now I have the equivalent of that debug backtrace right here, where I can go backwards through the backtrace and see what functions are being called where. And so I can see that system token output is calling this, and that's coming from system block view. So I can see like the stack trace, but then I can also see inside of the entire stack trace, when I go backwards through it, this is the total context with all of the variables at that point, including all of the super globals and stuff like that. So I can see that show restricted is 0 here, and token types is foo. So this is actually the problem here, is that token types is a string and not an array. But I need to actually find out where this thing is being passed in. So I'm not totally sure from this particular location how I would get to that information, but
I'm using VS Code and I see debug Xdebug. I had Xdebugger, I don't know, like very long time ago, but VS Code itself has PHP debug.
yeah.
So
Yeah, and you can even step through each individual line. So if I hit next, oh well, now it's through an error because because it encountered the problem. But yeah, if I were to have done this earlier, like here, and reload, it opens. Yeah, now I can step through line by line and see, okay, CID just got set, and so CID is the value here, and so I can go to the next line. It's going to go into the for each loop. Yeah, and you can watch the variables change one line at a time as it goes through execution. But setting up a debugger without DDEV or Lando is really tedious. It's quite difficult. But yeah, your debugger or your IDE, you'll also need to find the button in it to say listen for connections. And that tells your IDE that when Xdebug is turned on, that it needs to be listening for the for the request to come through to intercept it.
I will do my best. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate all the help because that is what I needed. This is not only it's kind of pushing my limits, but it's a very unusual situation because normally you have a module and you have a problem, and the problem comes somehow is related to this module. It can track things within this module. What I see happening is that we have a module that is triggering not even other modules, but the core course errors, and I'm like, not it's not my level of expertise at this point, but you know, if we have to learn, we have to learn. That's
yeah, when these things it does happen all the time that, you know, there's a lot of moving parts, and turning something on can break something else for sure.
so yeah, thank you so very much. I appreciate everyone who is here, and I admit that I might reach out to people individually if I make any more progress, so I'll put things in Zulip. And Justin is down with COVID, which is very sad. But I hope that he will recover soon and come back to us. We'll inspire him.
Oh, Justin Kaiser.
Yeah.
Who did this module? Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, we have this discussion for like about a month now, and one of my options was just to go and do just JavaScript count. That's the way it was implemented before, but then I needed to come up with a system how to record it and how to download reports and a set of permissions, and we wanted to give our users maximum flexibility. And this module seemed to be working the best, except that once we get the module working, now we have everything else broken. So
yeah,
quite interesting.
All right.
I wanted to mention too that if you want to print something in Watchdog, an array or something, if you add true as a second argument to print R, it'll return all that stuff instead of just but it's kind of, it'll be all clumped together and all messy and stuff. But
fine, clumped together as long as I get something. So that would be, hold on for a second. So if I am in my code, right? So here, so right now I am using DPM, and this one works. So this allows me to backtrace things, right? So I can try to get things back. Where in Watchdog I should put true?
oh, you need to use if you wanted that. I think the debug backtrace and DPM seems to be working fine, but if you wanted to, you would just use the print R function and add true as a second argument.
Here.
Instead of where the message goes in Watchdog.
Oh, what here?
Yeah, so you can wrap that in a print R, in the print R function.
This
token,
one?
yeah, token info. Print R underscore R.
I can, yeah, I can. This is interesting thing about auto. I can type print R much quicker than I will click all this. Yes, yes, no,
Yeah.
go back. Okay.
And
like,
then the second argument to that, do true, and it'll give you a messy clump of the
this
array.
one, second argument,
On
like
print R,
print R,
right
comma.
after token info, yeah. True. Yeah, that'll return it.
I'm gonna for now close this one just to see if I can. And I did it on the other one.
Although you need to pass the string value into the message, the second parameter of Watchdog, not the third one.
Right. Where token get info.
Okay, so log data is corrupted. Interesting. I'm getting. I am getting different log data. So I am here.
Yeah, so yeah, delete the token get info else, like that string.
Mm-hmm.
Delete the whole thing and the parameter. So delete the empty quotes and the comma. Or move the print R over to that one. So yeah, there you go. And now after the print R, the closing parentheses, pass in an empty array.
Here.
Yeah. Just an empty array though, not a string.
Like this.
With no $sign though. There you go. Yep. Oh, and it looks like token info is got a typo in it. It's token info 0.
Lovely.
There we go. Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get my error and look at the report. And
I think we might only be seeing VS Code and not the browser.
oh, okay, but it is not showing it to me anyway. So hold on. Hold on, stop share. Zoom share, full screen share, desktop. So VS Code is here. Token. So this is not where so I am here. I removed both of this. I left watchdog core print token info true array watchdog warning.
Mm-hmm. So now
I'm gonna
look at
put
you.
core token just to like this, just to make sure that
Yeah, that it's unique. Yeah.
it's just okay. So this is here. Control save. This is I'm getting my error, new error. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna clear messages just to make sure that so this is interesting. On anything, I clicked clear log messages, recent log messages, and I'm getting this, the download count is triggered when I simply click like maybe not in everything.
Yeah. Well, looks. It's hard for me to say where that's coming from, but it looks like you're saying module load include, which makes me think that
This is,
you know, where that's coming from is just saying that the module got loaded.
yes, it did get loaded. Is it supposed to load when I click anything?
Yeah, every module loads on every page.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Then I know I put it in. This is where, so I was doing some random messaging just to get it included. So now if I get if I do add content type, I get my error, and in recent log messages.
yes, there's oh, that's interesting that it didn't seem to print anything.
Maybe
see.
because, is it possible that it's empty?
Yeah, it seems like it that is kind of the problem, I think, but that's strange that it didn't show you any message at all. Well, Irina, I think we're gonna have to close for
Absolutely.
today.
Thank you so very much. I will keep learning. And Eric, special thanks for coming. I hope you enjoy this puzzle.
Yeah.
Martin, great to see you always.
I'll
And
be
say-
around this afternoon, Irina, if you want to reach out after like 2:30.
This gives me 2 hours and 30 and 2 hours and 29 minutes to learn all these things so I can show them to you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Irene. Thanks, Eric. Okay,
Thanks.
so everybody else out there, since we did this all on the live on the internet, I hope it was educational. But yeah, I'll recap again that yeah, Backdrop 1.30.1, we're going to try to get that out tomorrow. And yeah, thank you for sticking with us and watching this video, and catch everybody next week.
Thank you very much.
you,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Everybody.